the basis for what we do, and are also the basis for much of what the Conservatives will do as well. I think that the thing that excites me most about being involved here, and having been involved over the last 4 years with planning, is simply the opportunity to work on what is one of Europe's, I would say Europe's most important conservation projects in this decade. Rosslyn Chapel has been here for more than 500 years and has survived, and is remarkable in terms of its carved stonework particularly. And just to be able to work on that, I think, is just wonderful.
But this is not the first time work has been undertaken on the chapel. Throughout its history, the condition of the chapel's structure and decorative fabric has continued to evolve. The chapel was a place of worship for the family for almost 100 years. However, in 1592, the Protestant Reformation swept Scotland, forcing the Sinclairs to demolish the altars and cease worship in the chapel. And for almost 300 years, the chapel fell into misuse and neglect. During the English Civil War, Cromwell's army ransacked Rosslyn Castle and stabled their horses here in the chapel. In 1688, Protestants from the nearby village of Rosslyn smashed their way into the chapel and destroyed everything they viewed as symbolising the Catholic faith. In the following century, the abandoned and ruined chapel and its picturesque setting began to attract artists, early photographers, writers and poets. Robert Burns, Sir Walter Scott and the painter Turner all came here and took inspiration from the romance of Rosslyn. However, the writer Dorothy Wordsworth, visiting 1803, feared for its future.
Went to view the inside of the Chapel of Rosslyn, which is kept locked up. The architecture within is exquisitely beautiful, but as nothing is done to keep it together, it must, in the end, fall. But
Dorothy Wordsworth's prediction was not to come true. For a generation later, the 3rd Earl of Rosslyn took action to change the chapel's fate. He commissioned the architects to begin the first conservation work, and by 1862, the chapel was once again a working church. His son, the 4th Earl, continued the tradition by adding the Victorian stained glass windows, the organ loft, and the baptistry you can see today. Throughout its history, the chapel has faced many enemies, perhaps the most powerful of which is water. A roof that has leaked for centuries and chronic condensation created the perfect environment for algae to flourish. 10 years ago, the chapel's interior was green, but problems with the stonework run deeper.
Nick, please tell me about the situation with the stonework.
Historians have described the chapel as being a symphony in stone, but actually from our point of view, it's a symphony in stone decay. So just by walking around the chapel and through the chapel, we can identify many, many different forms of stone decay, areas of damage in terms of ordinary forms of cement in the construction joints, biological growth in many forms affecting the surface, problems associated with cracks and the breakdown of the stone surface. We also have problems relating to soilings. In times of industrialization, for example, our air wasn't clean, and that is demonstrated on the chapel. We can see areas of environmental pollution products, fluid attaching themselves to the surface, effectively obscuring the original carved details. In addition to that, we have the works conducted by our predecessors, which sometimes have always been done in good faith, but sometimes been done using inappropriate materials. So we have, for example, damaging effects of iron rods inserted into the stone, like to hold the stones together, or hold the windows in, for example. In all, there are thousands of individual challenges and individual solutions that we must find in order to carefully and respectfully treat them. I mean, this isn't an ordinary church. This is more of a jewel box, and that's the reason why we're taking the utmost care and attention to conserve every single individual centimetre of it.
There is more to conserve at Rosslyn Chapel than merely craftsmanship.
Such dedicated work must have required powerful inspiration, and there are many mysterious and controversial explanations behind much of what you will see here.
For centuries, experts and theorists have pored over the chapel's carvings, finding as many questions as answers.
Could Henry, first Prince of Orkney, have discovered America 100 years before Columbus? Carvings of North American corn may suggest so. Was the Sinclair family connected to the mysterious Knights Templar? Some say the pendant keystone holds the answer. And what are the Masonic references throughout the chapel? Further evidence of the family's intriguing past. We know that the chapel served as a mausoleum to the Sinclair family. The founder, Sir William, is believed to be buried beneath the chapel floor, along with other family members. But who, or what else, if anything, lies deep within these vaults? The Dead Sea Scrolls? The true Stone of Destiny? The Holy Grail?
All great tales, though unlikely to be true. But the chapel's extraordinary sense of history and mystery continues to seduce right up to the present day. The current conservation programme represents another compelling chapter in the chapel's 500-year history. And the success of this programme is due to the continued dedication of the Sinclair family, the Rosslyn Chapel Trust, and the passion and expertise of the craftspeople involved. Time doesn't stand still, and although the current conservation programme will dramatically restore and improve the chapel's condition, future generations will have to assume the responsibility and challenge of maintaining the stunning legacy of Sir William Sinclair.